Good evening and welcome to my channel and another one take review, this time of the Graham Farish Class 47. Now I've got in front of me one of the original tooling. This is a pool era split chassis. Can't remember the part number offhand, but this one is best part of probably about 30 years old, I reckon, by now. And she has got a couple of inaccuracies. Namely, here is the what looks to be exhaust port. That's actually just like that. That is the exhaust for the steam boiler. The actual exhaust should be over here somewhere, but it's not actually modelled. The fuel tank is a single piece clip-on, and naturally she's got quite coarse wheel sets. These are the original wheels, and they've got the old pizza clusters. However, things have changed in the world of the Class 47. I bring you the new one. Now, straight away, you'll notice that, yes, they are in the same livery, and they are different numbers. That one is 47125. Is that 47125? Is that 47725? Let me get my magnifying glass so I can have a look. I think it's 125. Yeah, 47125. And this one is 47555. Commonwealth Spirit. She does have fitted a nameplate, although she's actually trying to feel it. It's actually part of the paint scheme. It's not a 3D plate. That's not really a problem. She's got, I believe, inside it is I think it's a Next 18 decoder. Let's have a look at what the instructions say. Bachmann Collectors Club, and here are the instructions. It is it's got a 1-year warranty, as expected. Yeah, she has a Next 18 decoder. She also has inside a accessory pack which contains a couple of snow plows. I'm not going to fit that because when you fit the snow plows, you lose one of the couplings. This being a freight train and not going to be fixed to a set passenger rake, it's going to be using both ends. That's obviously when I run round. Right, let's have a look at the livery. For a start off, let's compare the two. I'm choosing these two because these are the two I've got, which are in a very good standard, very good condition on the original livery. I have got a BR blue one in old tooling, but the bodywork isn't that great. It's a bit, I wouldn't say it's tatty, but she is a bit worn. And I have got a new one as well in BR blue. But comparing a really new locomotive with an old locomotive that's a little bit beat up, because it's 30 years old, it's not really a fair comparison. It'd be like comparing this 08 and that 08 for terms of quality of paint job. It's just not going to happen. So I'm choosing these two because the other most intact, in terms of condition, this one's been pretty well looked after. Even though it's on its original wheels, its original wheel frames, still got its original battery box, and it's got the original body. This one here has got a replacement buffer beam. It catches the bogie coupling, and it's now, thanks to a derailment and coming over and brittle plastic, it's lost its underframe. So I can't really use that one, which leaves me with these two here. So this one doesn't have lights. They didn't have lights or anything like that. DC back then, it was no DCC. So what is this witchcraft you talk of? Yeah. Doesn't have like the high intensity marker light molded onto it. It's just got the domino plates, which are fairly flat. This one, on the other hand, does have working lights. Focus, thank you. It's got working lights and working high intensity light. Under here, I'm not going to take the body off, but you'll find the Next 18 decoder. She is pre-wired with a speaker. So if you get a sound fitted decoder as an aftermarket part from a model railway supplier, because Bachmann, they don't do after, I don't think they do, don't quote me on it, I might be wrong. Yeah, I don't think they do the decoders as an aftermarket part for the sound decoders. Something to do with licensing, I think. However, you can get this model sound fitted. So if you got DCC, yeah, may as well go and spend the extra £100 and go for a sound fitted option. So this lovely Class 47 cost me £179, which is about 210 US dollars, about 3 million New Zealand dollars. But yeah, so what do we get for this £170? Well, we get a really smart, well crisp, well presented, rail freight distribution paint job. We get the roof, it's got all the roof hatches all nicely picked out, and whereas this one here, come on, focus, thank you. Whereas this one here has got the exhaust port for the steam boiler, this one doesn't have steam heating. The little plate is there and it's been capped off. There is, however, if I just roll it towards the camera, the actual exhaust is there, where it should be. So, since it first came out, the tooling has vastly improved. However, this one still feels a little bit heavier, so that will probably actually pull a lot better. Modern locomotives, whether they be Bachmann, Dapol, Revolution or whatever, they tend not to be as heavy as some of the old ones because there's less metal in them because they've obviously got to make room for the electronics. Underneath, you have the bogies have got covers over them, so the wheel sets do not have exposed gearing. That is very, very useful. It prevents the locomotive, as far as I'm aware, from picking up errant bits of debris. Because when locomotives suck up little bits of foreign objects, it gets lodged in the gears and it causes on no end of issues. My Revolution 59, I think, has fallen to victim to one such situation. Whereas this one did have open gears. I mean, these are the later bogies. Originally, the bogies were metal, had metal gearing, which sounded really, really rough and coarse. So, how well will it handle? I've got sat by my side is a Dapol, not Dapol, sorry, a Gauge Master 100M controller. So we're going to dial it up. That's 10%, nothing. This is about 15%, and you can just about hear the locomotive moving. And you can just about see it moving as well. It's crawling along. So if you're doing a nice MGR layout where you're taking your train to a power station, you want to really, really slow crawl. And at about 15% on the dial, that pretty much gives it. Let's see how slow if I just dial it back a bit. So she has excellent low speed control. I mean, this one hasn't even been run in yet. She is a little noisy, but if you've got a sound fitted one, you'll probably be able to drown that out. Right, let's see if I can get the body off without doing any harm. So if my 37 is anything to go by, yes, the body is off. Right, you have got. Let's put it back on the track. Right. You've got a motherboard here, and this has got, looks like it might have interior LEDs. One there. Well, there's a set of dip switches here, which I believe control the lighting. So let's just consult the manual, the instructions yet again. I'll see what it says about the two dip switches, which I think are for turning the lights off at the trailing end. Yeah, they are for the number 1 and number 2 end. Number 1 is for the end with the fan. Number 2 is the end that does not have the fan. And at this end here, we have the speaker there. That's your decoder blanking plate. So if you have a decoder, that's where it goes. Got to be careful which way it reapplies. Right. This is what a feature I do like, is that inside this bodywork there are locating pegs. Now, so that you can put the body on the correct way and only the correct way, the lugs at one end are further in than what are in the other end, and they line up with a pair of slots that are in the chassis. One set's there and the other set is there. If you notice, this one is fairly closer to the end than this one here. And that lines up. So the fan goes where the light switches are, and the exhaust goes under where the speaker is, which makes sense because when you've got an engine, you get a lot of noise from the exhaust. I'm putting the body on. It's a simple case of just push it on and let it go click. It drives home with a nice resounding click. So let's have a look at the paintwork itself. From what I can gather, the paintwork has changed very, very slightly over time since this model was done and the original model was done. This one's slightly lighter, that one's slightly darker. Which one is the correct paint scheme? I don't know, but I would have thought, given the research carried out by manufacturers, this one probably the more accurate of the two, especially given the fact that my Dapol 86 is almost got the same roof colour. So yeah, the livery itself is very, very crisply applied, both in terms of the picking out of the handrails on the door, which I think might actually be separate parts, whereas this let's have a feel. Ooh. Actually, they are actually depicted on this one as well, but very, very faintly, whereas these ones are actually picked out quite nicely. Bleed out on the paint scheme, there doesn't appear to be any, which is good. And yes, it's even got the very fine cant rail. You might be able to possibly make it out if my phone will focus. Oh, there we go. It is there, the cant rail is there. Now, this one, the rail freight, did have a blackish window band. It is actually depicted around the edges of the windows. This one does not have that. So that's another improvement that Bachmann have made. And to be honest, I like this loco. I really do. It is got very, as you've seen earlier on, it has excellent low speed control. Will, however, at some point wear it in and have it running, probably on a Speedlink train. So, should you get one of these if your layout is set in the 1980s, 1990s? Yes, it's a must. It's one of those locomotives which, just like the 08 shunter over here, that's lurking away. Oh, focusing, little devil. Just like the 08 shunter that sat there, just out of focus. No layout set in the time period that rail freight distribution was offering. You've got to have one. You've got to have a 47. They were everywhere. So out of 10, given the locomotive's quality, yeah, it's a 9. Why not a 10? Because the bloody snowplows are an absolute swine to fit. They don't really tell you how they actually go in. Yeah, you pull out the coupling, but then it doesn't really tell you how it goes in, how it actually fits. I personally would rather they be, because they look like they're mounted to the bogies. They should be really, ideally, mounted to the bodywork, the buffer beam, like they are on the 31, but made of a much more resilient material. And if you do want to have the snowplows on, why not have it where you have the coupling? Because I mean, these are all injection molded. Why not have the snowplows and the coupling made as one item? That just locks into place. A winged coupling with the snowplows already built in. Or have the snowplows that just the outsides of the snowplows that clip into locating pins on the front of the bogies. Therefore, you can have your appearance of snowplows and have a functional coupling. Whereas this one is either one or the other. Oh well, can't win them all. But yeah, this is my Class 47.